I strongly believe marketing is kind of a combination of an art and a science, both the data with the empathy for the people you're trying to reach and help. So that's kind of how my background led me to this place. We are a data company, so we are incredibly data driven. I personally find that really liberating in a culture because it means we're really looking at the impact that a person has and the results they have. Every single interaction you have with someone, every engagement, is a reflection of your brand. And so when we work on employer brand, we actually have an employer brand kind of cross-functional working group. So we at Enigma provide for all parents 12 weeks of paid leave, and then for birth-giving parents, 20 weeks of paid leave, with the option for additional unpaid leave on top of that.
We are here with Madeline Ross, VP of Marketing at Enigma Technologies, a data science company focused on engineering the most reliable and accessible data on small businesses. Madeline is a marketing leader with experience in building go-to-market strategy, demand gen, and high-performing teams for B2B and B2C startups. Madeline, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa.
Could you just start by telling us more about Enigma, your role there, and any previous experiences that led you to the role?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Enigma, as you mentioned, we're a data company, and we're really focused on providing the most accurate, reliable data about small and medium businesses across the United States. So small businesses, they're the backbone of our economy, but more than half of them can't get the financing they need. And a lot of that is because lenders, banks, simply don't have enough data to understand who is this business and, are they a real business? Do they need the money? That's where we come in. So really trying to transform the financing of small businesses in the United States. And then to answer your next question about what I do there. So at Enigma, I lead marketing. So that's all of our demand gen, our brand, partner really closely with a lot of other teams across the company. I came to Enigma about 4.5 years ago from another location data analytics company, and actually got my career started working in market research, doing due diligence on emerging tech companies for investors. So I strongly believe marketing is kind of a combination of an art and a science, both the data with the empathy for the people you're trying to reach and help. So that's kind of how my background led me to this place.
Absolutely. I love how you phrased that as well. Now, what type of culture are you fostering at Enigma that you believe is attractive to the type of candidates you want to come work for you?
Yeah, I think, there's a couple of really kind of key things about our culture at Enigma, some of which are, I think, common to a lot of startups and some of which are more unique. We are a data company, so we are incredibly data driven. I personally find that really liberating in a culture because it means we're really looking at the impact that a person has and the results they have, and not so much, FaceTime, on a particular project. When are you, what hours are you online? It's really about kind of like, what's the impact we're driving? How can we measure that? And along with that goes a real culture of experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something as a marketer in particular that's really empowering to be at a company that wants you to take risks, that wants you to push boundaries, to try new things. And that's true not just for marketing at Enigma, but across the board. Another one of our values that I think is a little underappreciated at a lot of other startups is one of our key values at the company is generosity. And I have to say that's part of what drew me to Enigma. That's part of what keeps me at Enigma. But just the level of collaboration, intellectual curiosity and generosity across teams is, I think, what draws a lot of people, that ability to work with other smart people and learn from them.
And I think that's a great point to highlight because people, especially now, want to feel that value in the workplace, and to be able to share like that and openness is a strong aspect to have as a part of your culture. What do you believe is most important for companies to understand about building a stronger employer brand today?
Yeah. Wow. I feel like that could be a whole conversation on its own. I think, employer brand, we think about it as, it's an extension of the larger brand. And I think one of the things that's really true about a brand is, it's an experience, and every single interaction you have with someone, every engagement, is a reflection of your brand. And so when we work on employer brand, we actually have an employer brand kind of cross-functional working group that's members of the marketing team, members of our people in HR team, members of our recruiting team. And that's because we think brand is not just what you portray. It really, like, you gotta walk the walk. I think especially in our space, we hire a lot of really talented technical people, a lot of people who have a very fine-tuned, BS sensor, and they know if you're not telling the truth. No, they know if it's just marketing. You've got to be, for employer brand, it's about, finding out what's unique about your company.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you can offer that's going to help? You're not going to be the right fit for everyone, but you want to make sure that you're attracting those people who you are going to be a great fit for, and that what you're putting out there in the world reflects the experience they will have when they actually join.
Absolutely. I especially like that you have a cross-functional group for employer branding within the company. One of the things that I personally feel like is employer brand has to be embedded within the ethos of a company. So the fact that you even have it spread across groups is just super impactful. So what are some of the biggest hiring challenges you feel are facing marketing departments today? And where should companies even start with combating some of these issues?
Yeah, I think, one of them is, of course, as we've all experienced, this is a really competitive market right now. Almost every candidate you're talking to is talking to other people. They have multiple options. One thing that I think, we've seen be really helpful in terms of addressing that is like making sure you have your process for hiring really tight going into that. I think there is, less and less patience on the part of candidates, especially really qualified candidates, to sit through a lengthy process. These are people whose time is valuable. They want, you should have a process where you can very quickly know what you're looking for and assess that and get to a decision quickly. I think that's one, just respectful of people's time, but also really helpful in terms of, making sure you can actually close those candidates that you want to. I think another really big challenge in hiring marketing right now is this just the evolution of marketing itself over the past several years, and trying to figure out, what are the roles? What is that composition of a team? Keeping in mind that people may have past titles that, may not exactly map onto what you're looking for, but actually are the exact right set of skills. So really kind of trying to peel away those labels and really look at what do you need someone to do and what are those competencies and can people do that?
I appreciate that a lot. One thing that I would love to hear from you guys is what is your parental leave policy? This is something that's getting talked about a lot within the job conversations, as well as people want to know that even as parents, they're supported. So what do you guys do about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is an issue that's near and dear to my heart. I have a lot of team members who, are parents or are becoming parents or interested in becoming parents. And it is something I think incredibly important, not just for women, but for all parents. So we at Enigma provide for all parents 12 weeks of paid leave. And then for birth-giving parents, 20 weeks of paid leave with the option for additional unpaid leave on top of that. I think, though, a lot of how we support parents goes beyond that. There's providing leave, but there's also making sure that people feel empowered to take that leave. And I think it's part of the responsibility of the company is, making sure that parents who take that leave are set up for success and have an on-ramp to come back. And they're not playing catch up. They're still maintaining their position at the company. Mm-hmm. And so that's something that we think are really thoughtful about kind of putting together the plans for how can we make sure that we support people while they're away on leave and once they return to the company. And I also think, at Enigma, we're hybrid remote. We're remote first, like a lot of companies are now. And I honestly think that's also one of the best ways we can support parents is by, providing people the flexibility to balance their work with their personal responsibilities. I mean, family comes first. And so, if you need to pick up your kids and then, you need to arrange your work schedule around that, like, that's fine. And like, people are very used to that at Enigma and very supportive of that.
I think that's a great way to promote the work-life balance culture. Last question for you, Madeline. We're all about at Solvable what drives purpose and meaning for people at work. So I would love to know what drives purpose and meaning for you at work.
Yeah. I think, for me, a big part of purpose and meaning is, it's kind of the macro and the micro is how I think of it. So the macro is the thing I'm building, what I'm putting out in the world. Is that actually, making the world a better place? Doesn't mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not saving lives, but that's why, Enigma's mission of helping small businesses actually get financing and tools to succeed is something I really strongly believe in. And for me, that's a crucial part. And then the micro, for me, that comes down to community. Is the company I'm working at, do I feel like there's a community that I'm a part of that is, enriching my life, that's making me smarter, that's helping me grow?
Madeline, thank you so much for being on with us today. And thank you all for listening to Architects of Contemporary Hiring.
Thanks for having me, Lisa.